Kia ora te whānau, a ihu karaiti ko Andrew Doubleday ho. Today we're looking at the Gospel text for Sunday the 10th of August 2025. It's Luke chapter 12 verses 32 through to 40. Do not be afraid, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Sell your possessions and give to the poor. Make purses for yourselves that do not wear out, an unfailing treasure in heaven, where no thief comes near and no moth destroys. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Be dressed for action and have your lamps lit. Be like those who are waiting for their master to return from the wedding banquet, so that they may open the door for him as soon as he comes and knocks. Blessed are those slaves whom the master finds alert when he comes. Truly, I tell you, he will fasten his belt and have them sit down to eat, and he will come and serve them. If he comes during the middle of the night or near dawn and finds them so, blessed are those slaves. But know this, if the owner of the house had known at what hour the thief was coming, he would not have let his house be broken into. You also must be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an unexpected hour. Which bits do you most readily hear of the words of Jesus? My hunch is, if you're like me, the parts that strike me most readily are the negative bits, or what seem like the negative bits. Sell your possessions and give to the poor. Kind of leaps out. How do you feel when you hear those words of Jesus? Like he's demanding too much? We hear the word all, which actually isn't there. Sell all your possessions. And what, leave me with nothing? Leave me destitute? Leave me wandering the street looking for somewhere to lay my head? It all sounds a little bit like Jesus is on our case. It can sound unreasonable and for most of us unattainable. That Jesus is in some way more committed to our misery than our well-being. Yet we need to hear how this opens and what's interlaced through it. The opening line, do not be afraid, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Jesus clearly intends to bless us. Jesus' intent is to benefit us, not to deprive us of anything that is for our good. If we doubt that, it's worth noticing what he says a little further on. I hope you noticed it in the way that I emphasized in the reading. Blessed are those slaves whom the master finds alert when he comes. Truly, I tell you, he will fasten his belt and have them sit down to eat, and he will come and serve them. Hang on a moment. This isn't how it works, is it? A few chapters on in Luke 17, Jesus describes the ethos of the day. Verse 7, he says, suppose one of you had a servant ploughing or looking after the sheep. Would he say to the servant when he comes in from the field, come along now and sit down to eat? Would he rather not say, prepare my supper, get yourself ready and wait on me while I eat and drink. After that you may eat and drink. Would he thank the servant because he did what he was told to do? So you also, when you have done everything you were told to do, should say, we are unworthy servants. We have only done our duty. That was the picture of the day. Yet in our text for today, Jesus says exactly what the culture says shouldn't happen. The people of the day would be appalled, particularly the wealthy class, would be appalled to see this picture. So the master comes in, Jesus, and he says, come along now and sit down to eat. And it's him, the master, who's saying this, who's waiting on us again. He's actually saying that. Hear it again. Blessed are those slaves whom the master finds alert when he comes. Truly I tell you, he will fasten his belt and have them sit down to eat, and he will come and serve them. Yes, yes, he really did say that. So we conclude that the whole passage is bathed in his benevolence and goodwill toward us. This is no matter of how harsh, how unreasonable or demanding some of his suggestions may appear. His intent towards us is good, of the highest and best kind. So what are we to make of these words, sell your possessions and give to the poor? I suggest he's simply encouraging us to travel light, or to start to learn to travel light for our own good. The truth is that I'm a hoarder. I struggle to throw away things that could be useful. And I can rationalise that in all kinds of ways. You know, our throwaway, highly disposable society. That might have a use one day. As I say, I'm a bit of a hoarder. You can just ask Lynn. No, perhaps better not, because she's tried numerous times to do something about it. Am I wedded to the things I have? I don't believe so. Yet that hasn't really been tested. When we finally moved out of the parsonage that we'd lived in for 27 years, we moved actually to a larger house. Lynn's attempts to scale down my stuff actually proved futile. I'm hardly travelling light. But it's what Jesus is asking of us, for our own good. The fewer attachments, the better, the freer we will be. And I think that's what this is about, because Jesus wants us to be free, all of us. And when we're free, we can focus on what's important. The problem with property and possessions is their tendency to have us, to own us, rather than we having and owning them. Jesus knows this about us. He knows that the richest people can be those who, in fact, ultimately have the least. I came across this quotation from Rudyard Kipling a day or so back. I thought it was very good. He says, be aware of over-concern for money or position or glory. Someday you will meet someone who cares for none of these things. Then you will know how poor you are. Hear that again? Beware of over-concern for money or position or glory. Someday you will meet someone who cares for none of these things. Then you will know how poor you are. And he's echoing really the words of Jesus. He's inviting us to travel light. In some ways, imagine ourselves to be a missionary, someone who moves around from place to place. When we travel light, we're able to live with a measure of readiness, and this is the whole point of the rest of the passage. To be able to attend to what God puts in front of us, unencumbered by all the stuff that needs to be looked after. and we're so often distracted by it without even realizing it. We don't think about it. It's just there. The lawns need mowing. These things need to be fixed. These things need to be attended to. I'm just looking out of the garden now. It claims our time and our energy. How much time and energy would we have on our hands if so much of it wasn't spent servicing stuff? How much freer might we be? There's a lovely story that Anthony de Mello tells of the Jewish rabbi, I think is Polish, being visited in the 19th century. Tourists would come and see him. His name was Chofetz Chaim, very well known. And the story is of a tourist who comes into his room, and that's all he had was one room. It had bookshelves with books on it. It had a table, and it had a bed. And he looked at the rabbi and said, "Rabbi, where's your stuff?" And the rabbi looked at him and says, "Where's yours?" He says, "I'm just passing through." "So am I," said the rabbi. We're all ultimately just passing through. And Jesus invites us to travel light and to live ready. And when it's put like that, it actually sounds quite attractive. Amen. God bless you.